Hi. Just wanted to come in here before the video starts and let you guys know that I switched mics halfway through, so it's going to sound a lot different. I did my best to try and make it match, but it is what it is. And two, this video is kind of a slow burn. This is like kind of my first time doing something like this, so I was kind of trying to find my footing in like the first 20 minutes of this, and it really picks up after that, but it's not very coherent because, again, this is my first time doing this, so cut me some slack. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm out of here. Comment down below about anything else or whatever. Okay, bye.
Hi, I'm Zero. This is a video about my progress towards making an OT Living Dex. For the three of you that don't already know, a Living Dex is a complete catalog of all existing Pokemon in your PC. Still confused? Well, that's understandable. I'm not good at explaining things. So here's an example instead. You're playing through Pokemon Red. You choose Charmander as your starter. You evolved him into Charmeleon and then into Charizard. If you check your Pokedex, you'll see that it shows you as having caught Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard. In reality, however, you only have Charizard now. If you want a Living Dex, you'll have to go out of your way and obtain 2 more Charmanders so you can evolve one into Charmeleon, keep one as Charmander. That way you physically have one of each. Okay, we know what a Living Dex is, so what is an OT Living Dex? Some of you may have already figured that out. OT stands for Original Trainer. Each and every Pokemon you catch throughout a playthrough of any game has data attached to it that identifies it as your Pokemon specifically. You're able to see the trainer name of the player who caught the Pokemon, and you can even see the trainer ID, which is just a string of 5 digits, but it's another layer of identification in the case that 2 trainers have the same name. So now that we know those 2 things, I can better explain what I'm doing here. I want to have a Living Dex, with all Pokemon having the same original trainer name. The name we can control, however, we cannot control the 5-digit trainer ID. Moving on, I'm also going to be catching every Pokemon in a good old, reliable, plain Jane Pokeball. There's no real reason for it, it's just a preference to have them all match. Lastly, I'm catching every Pokemon in the games they originally debuted in or remakes of those games. For a little bit of context, I already had a Living Dex back in 2015. I decided to make one when I discovered Pokemon Bank. Pokemon Bank released in North America in February of 2014, but I stopped playing Pokemon after Black and White, so I missed Black and White 2, and I missed out on X and Y. It was the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire remakes that pulled me back in, which released in November of 2014. After I beat Alpha Sapphire, I knew I wanted to keep playing, and I wanted a Living Dex to take to the next game in the series, so I did what any reasonable person would do. I bought a Power Saves, duped a bunch of legendaries, and traded them on the GTS for, and I'm not kidding about this, the other 400, roughly, Pokemon I needed for a Living Dex. So not only did I cheat for it, but I also had a Living Dex full of different Pokemon from different games, caught in different balls by different people from all over the world. Admittedly, this is actually kind of cool the more I think about it, but I was more so annoyed with the Pokemon names, which were an inconsistent mishmash of all kinds of different languages, and the goofballs that traded me that were catching the likes of Caterpie and Wurmple and Ultra Balls just really bothered me for some reason. I eventually tried to PK Hex myself a Living Dex, but I got through like 100 before I realized it was taking me just as long to do that as it would for me to just play the games. That being said, I started my journey to catch all 890 at the time I started this, now 1017, the right way. I know it might seem like I'm cramming a lot in here, but this is just an introduction for potentially a series of videos. So we'll be sending people back here in subsequent videos for more clarification. I already managed to make it through the entirety of generations 1 through 5, which is a huge relief because pushing hundreds of Pokemon through Pokemon Transporter is more painful than it has any right to be. So is managing PC boxes in Generation 1 and 2. If there's a lot of interest, I will go back and cover those in future videos, but for now, we'll be covering Kalos as that's the next stop I need to make. I start off the game on an emulator because first and foremost, it looks so much better and makes the game more enjoyable to play through. Secondly, I had just sent my 3DS in to be fitted with a capture card, so this is all I have for the meantime. After an hour or so, the game kept crashing, and I think I figured out the problem. So I changed my settings, put the battle mode to set and text speed to fast, and away we go. We head out the door to meet our friends at a cafe down the road. They force us to choose a nickname for ourselves, and we get a free... yeah, okay. Turns out this is why the game was crashing. I was playing a randomizer a while ago, and I forgot about it. For whatever reason, this randomized patch really didn't like the cheat that gets rid of outlines on people and Pokemon in the game, so I had to remove the randomizer patch, then I could get the no outlines cheat to work again. It's called a cheat because of the way you use it in the game, but it's only cosmetic and it does what it says on the tin. Moving right along, we snag ourselves a Froakie and tell Shauna to go home. A short walk home to tell Mom we're outie, and then back out to Route 2 to kick things off. I stopped at a mart on the way to pick up some Pokeballs and meet Dumb and Dumber in the fields to show me what I already know. On Route 2, I'm able to pick up 3 Scatterbug, a Bunnelby, 2 Fletchling, and a Caterpie. I was going to just catch everything to eventually fill out the national Dex in this game, but I changed my mind shortly after this. For the purposes of our OT Living Dex, we're only interested in the new Kalos Pokemon anyway. The national Dex can wait. I wasted a lot of time here trying to train up Scatterbug while running back to Aquacord to heal. I only played X once, so I didn't know you could just enter Santaloon Forest and Shauna will follow you around and you can ask her to heal your team as many times as you need. Nothing notable happens while in the forest. I caught a few more Pokemon that are not from Kalos and grinded a little more before we made our way out. At this point, I decided I would play a modded version of the game to spice things up and make it a bit more interesting. I decided to play Wilting Y, which I found on Poke Community from Buffle Saft. I hope I'm saying that right. They have several different versions of the mod available, and the one that suits our needs here is the online version, which is described as, and I quote, "This is essentially Eternal X and Wilting Y Light. It removes all Pokemon related changes, meaning no improved level up moves, no changes to Pokemon available in the wild, and no access to most hidden abilities. In exchange, every Pokemon you encounter is legal for use online and with Pokemon Bank. Additionally, thanks to Poke Community users Mighty Birdie and Bewley, these versions can be used to play online." End quote. If you've ever seen one of these hacks before, they typically include making most or all battles more difficult, especially for the important battles, and add a lot of different Pokemon to the wild encounters for variety. Because we are mainly playing to collect Pokemon for our Living Dex, we want them to be fully legal and unchanged. This version of the hack keeps all the wild Pokemon legal and exactly the same as if you were playing a retail copy of the game, while still changing the rosters of every trainer battle, making them more difficult. That being said, if you're following along with me, the game will be easier for you on the trainer battles, but all the wild Pokemon spawns, levels, and locations will all be the same. On Route 3, I battled all the trainers and trained up Scatterbug until she evolved into Spupa. By the time we reached Santaloon City, Fletchling and Spupa made it to level 10 and Froakie made it to level 11. I found the clothes shop and picked up a black logo cap and ditched the sunglasses. I thought I'd explore the town, and after talking to everyone, all I managed to find was someone who gave me a Great Ball to sell, and a guy looking to trade a Bunnelby for his Farfetch'd. We battled Rinka in front of the gym for some roller skates and gained access to the gym. She had a speed boost Torchic and Venipede, which could probably be a problem for some, but Froakie and Fletchling made quick work of them. Before taking on the gym, we went over to Route 22 to get some more experience and see what else we could add to our decks. Thanks to the hack, a lot of trainers on this route have Audinos, which really help with our XP gains. While training, Spupa evolved into Vivillon. It's not necessary to point this out, but I can't help myself. While I was training against an Audino, I got a terrible, unlucky roll of being hit with Double Slap all 5 times, twice in a row, knocking out Vivillon and costing her some much needed XP, and for me, a sliver of my sanity. Don't you worry though, Vivillon will be siphoning me of all my sanity soon enough. After defeating all the trainers, Froakie, Fletchling, and Vivillon were sitting at level 14, and the Bunnelby I started training was at level 8. I hadn't managed to find any new Pokemon on Route 22, though I didn't look too hard as I was eager to take on the gym and see just how challenging this hack was. A challenge I wanted and a challenge I got. Even the trainers in this gym didn't take it easy on me. It's worth noting that I was approaching this with the mentality of a Nuzlocke and playing it as such. I'm not going to restart my game if I fail though. If there's anyone out there who doesn't know what this is, it's not important. All you need to understand is that I'm playing with the express purpose of not allowing my Pokemon to faint, just for fun. As a side note, something I learned about the Santaloon gym that I didn't know before: if you return to the center, you can press A to climb back up the rope and leave to go heal. I always thought you were stuck here once you entered, but nope. Anyhow, now we move on to fight Viola. Viola? Whatever. This fight is truly difficult, right out of the gate. First, Viola leads with a Surskit, that is Bubble Beam and Icy Wind. This ensures that if you picked Fennekin, or trained up a Fletchling, like I did, you are screwed, to put it lightly. The best way to combat this thing is with a water type that resists its water and ice type attacks. Then, once you've managed that, she sends out Joltik, the perfect counter to the water type you just used to defeat Surskit. At this point in the game, you have slim pickings for answers to this little bug. The electric typing resists flying type moves, leaving you with only fire to deal with it. Rock would be better, but none are available this early in the game. So if you had to guess what Viola would send out next, what do you think it would be? If you said Dwebble, then you catch on quick. This thing comes in with a Rock Gem boosted Smackdown every single time. The best way I found to deal with this is to just sack something to the Smackdown and come back in with a water type to clean up. Last but not least is her Vivillon, with a coveted Pokeball pattern, just to irritate you all the more. I lost to Viola twice before changing my strategy. I made it to her Vivillon on the second attempt and realized it was at level 16, so I decided I would raise my Pokemon to level 15 to 16 to compete. And I went to explore Route 22 to do some more grinding. While I was there, I found Litleo with Ember, perfect for dealing with Viola's Joltik. After catching a Litleo, I made the executive decision to hack in some rare candies. You're welcome to get mad at this if you want, but I want you to know that I'll only be using these to level up my team to match lead trainers' aces in important battles, considering this is a hack that makes all of those fights significantly harder. I mean, just look at Viola here, right off the start. I don't feel like spending hours grinding when I'm going to be spending hours catching Pokemon. Also, it's my game and my video, so sorry if that upsets you. Since I lost to Viola twice, I knew exactly what to expect. Upon leveling our team to the 15s or 16s, Froakie evolved into Frogadier at level 16. I sliced through Surskit with Frogadier, charred Joltik with Litleo, sacked a Scatterbug to Dwebble, and then drowned it with Water Pulse from Frogadier. Then to top it off, we sent out Vivillon to paralyze hers and burned it up with some embers from Litleo. We got a peck in with Fletchling and finished the job with a quick attack from Bunnelby. With that, we have our first badge and the painstaking part can begin. We exited the city to the north, entering Route 4. We defeated some trainers here and began searching the flowers for signs of any Kalos native Pokemon. Upon investigation, I found that the only new Kalos Pokemon in this area is Flabebe. Flabebe is funny because it has 5 different forms, which are just alternate color palettes. There are red, yellow, orange, and white in this area, with blue also being available but only in purple flowers later in the game. Yellow Flabebe appear at a rate of 30% in the yellow flowers, while red Flabebe appear at a rate of 30% in red flowers. So what about orange and white Flabebe? Orange and white flowers? Nope. They both appear in any color of flowers. However, orange will appear at a rate of 4%, and white will appear at a rate of a painful 1%. What makes this worse? I managed to run into a white Flabebe before I knew how rare it really was. To be fair, I was out of Pokeballs anyways, so I would have had to have run, but it's probably better this happened before I knew of its rarity, because that would have made it so much more agonizing. Now you might be thinking that we only need one of each, but Flabebe has 2 evolutions, being Floette and Florges, both of which have the same color variants. So that means we need 3 of each color Flabebe. In the interest of being thorough, Floette has an additional 6th form called Eternal Flower Floette, and it looks pretty rad, but it was never made available and allegedly doesn't even exist in the code for any of the Switch games. Fun facts aside, I managed to find us 3 yellow, 3 red, and 3 orange flabebe after running around in these flowers for a little under an hour. I really didn't want to take on finding the white flabebes after spending about an hour here already, at a chance of essentially having to roll a 1 out of 100 3 times. I decided I'd tackle something else first. Something I figured wouldn't be too much of a hassle, but how wrong I was. I'm going to show you this cool collage of all these Vivillon evolving together because I think it looks really neat. Good God though, the amount of time it took me to get all of this together. I spent an entire day doing this and working it all out. Allow me to explain this to you. Some of you may already know, but Vivillon has 20 different possible patterns on its wings, with only 18 of those being currently available in X and Y. Each pattern is dependent on the location and region set on your 3DS. Working out how to get this to work on an emulator was a massive headache, and I'm not even going to get into it. Without going into too much detail though, I'll briefly show you a list of Vivillon patterns and what real-life country and region corresponds to which pattern. The process I had to repeat over and over was going into the settings and changing my region. After doing that, I had to restart the game entirely, because the game sets your region using your 3DS settings upon starting your save file, making it impossible to change it in-game without starting a new save file. So, I had to go through starting the game, watching the beginning cutscene with Sycamore, picking my character and name, getting dressed, having a healthy chat with Mom, meeting the gang and choosing a nickname and a starter, battling with Shauna, running back home to talk with Mom again, running all the way back the other way to Route 2, having Wingus and Dingus showing me how to catch a Pokemon for the umpteenth time, catching my own Scatterbug, and finally connecting to another instance of the emulator to trade my newly acquired Scatterbug before starting this whole process again, 17 times. I cannot stress to you how tedious this was. Repeating such a long list of events over and over ad nauseum until you can feel your eyes drying out in your skull. Suddenly, the dust floating in the air around you becomes noticeable as the thought of literally anything else becomes instantly more enticing. To the already ever-shrinking attention span you have left being burned away by the empty husk of the same useless tutorial you've played in every game over the last 20 years. But who's counting? Anyhow, this is the part where you really want to ask yourself, is this something you want to do or not? Shiny hunts have gone on longer and are probably a more impressive gauge of your willingness to put up with monotonous, tedious, and repetitive tasks. However, the laundry list of hoops that you have to jump through is just short enough to have you zoning out, but long enough that you still need to be paying a lot of attention to what's going on. I almost misspelled my trainer name a handful of times while doing this. If I had done that without noticing beforehand, that would have been an entire cycle I would have had to repeat again. So go ahead, give it a try. I dare you.
So, slightly distant future Zero here. A few things I gotta say. One, I'm having trouble finding the video for it, but while trading the Scatterbug from X, I also traded over the other 2 starters I needed. And secondly, I'm missing the video for one of the Vivillon evolutions, which is why I only showed 16, but I do have all 18. 16 just fits on the screen better. Whilst trading for the Scatterbug and starters, I ended up trading away most of my Pokemon I had caught up to this point, so some will have to be reacquired. After having my overdramatic meltdown over Vivillon, I thought it would be a good idea to find the white Flabebe to take my mind off the madness. I was talking to a friend while looking for them, so it wasn't nearly as bad, and I even had a counter going just to see how many encounters it would take. Kind of funny how this ended up working out. The first one took 235 encounters, twice as long as it should have taken. However, we found our second Flabebe at 44, and the third at 18. All in all, I'd say it evened itself out, and though bleak at first, it wasn't too bad all things considered. I stopped at the Poké Center to organize what we have and swapped out Vivillon for Chessman. I headed down to Route 3 to scoop up 2 Fletchling that I traded away, then doubled back to Route 22 to pick up a male Litleo for male Pyroar to go along with the female we already caught, and we also caught another female that we will just keep as Litleo. Now we have everything we need so far, we can finally move on to the next part of the game and get out of Route 4 in Santalune City for good.
Moving through Route 4 to Lumio City, I battled the rest of the trainers, and by the time we reached the gate, Fletchling evolved into Fletchinder, and Chessman evolved into Quilladin. I was dragged into Lumios by two randos and met Sycamore in his lab. He proceeds to battle me and blatantly lies to my face, telling me he's not very good at battling, as he nearly kills Combi and Quilladin. Oh yeah, sometime, while looking for Flabebe, I found a female Combi and added her to the team. I found a salon and dyed my hair blonde for no reason. I got held up by what can only be described as Doritos' attempt to respond to the Cheetos mascot and some woman LARPing as a Disney princess, followed by what I am assuming is an intimidation tactic from some skater girl and her two bipedal boxing boxers. Get it? Because a boxer is a breed of dog and Lucario looks like a... There's a skate park here on Route 5, which was fun for almost a minute. No lie though, I love interactive scenery, even if it doesn't really serve a purpose gameplay wise. After running around in the grass, I caught 8 Furfrou for all of the different forms, only to realize afterwards that you can't send the alternate forms through Pokemon Bank. At least that's what I kept finding Reddit posts about. I guess there's a way to get the different forms registered in the Pokemon Home Pokedex when sending them to Bank from Ultra Sun and Moon, and then to Home, but they still won't retain their forms either when sending them to Bank or Home. It's actually a little confusing, but I'm playing X and Y right now, so we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Rolling around in the grass some more, I caught 2 Skiddo, which I absolutely love, and 2 Pancham that I really don't care about. While running back and forth for Furfrou, I accidentally got a little too close to Tierno, and he took that as an insult and tried to teach me a lesson. I don't know if I'm the only one that did this, but when I was younger and played Red and Silver, I thought I could call out to the Pokemon I was looking for by playing its cry in the Pokedex. I tried it here in Y, and it didn't seem to help me much. I continued west after collecting everything we needed and battled the rest of the trainers. I'm really liking the variety of battles in this ROM hack so far. I'm actually engaged and invested in the battles, strategizing on the fly instead of mindlessly clicking A through 90% of the game. I seriously recommend giving this a try if you have the means to do it. We entered Route 5 with a Bunnelby in our party, but we're leaving with a Diggersby. In Camphrier Town, is that how you... What? It's gonna be an all... I swear. In Camphrier? In Camphrier Town, I switched out Diggersby for Skiddo, stocked up on status heal items, walked in on a Bitcoin mining operation, and let some guy pour his heart out about not being able to care for his berry garden anymore and asking me to do it while he stands inside doing nothing until the end of time itself. Shauna drags me into something that is entirely not my problem and harasses me about it until I do all the work. I'm stopped on my way to the palace by an old lady whose Pidgeotto really doesn't like Combi for some reason, and after thrashing the next old lady, Combi finally got strong enough to withstand 2 hits instead of 1. Reaching the palace, we take over Phil's mind and see through his eyes, forcing him to take a picture of us. In the weeds in front of the castle, I scrambled to catch 3 Honedge before they catch me, as well as 3 Esper, making sure one was male and the other female, for the different Meowstic forms. I don't think these things have closed their eyes since I got them. Shauna tries to get me tangled up in even more nonsense while I run around this rich guy's house looking for valuables to steal. Turns out he was hiding everything in the garden, and Shauna once again pesters me into helping her catch this man's Furfrou, and then patronizes me when I can't figure it out. I love toaster strudel. After we corner it, Richman is so elated and out of touch, he thinks it's appropriate to annoy the entire town with fireworks because someone managed to find his dog on his own property. Shauna is even starting to get irritated at this guy. If only she knew. We grab the Poke Flute and scram so Karate Man can wake up the Snorlax that I gladly would have walked around, but Pokemon logic. I caught it, maybe it'll go on the team, but probably not because I'm pretty sure everyone did that in their first time playing this game. I think I'm finally free and Double T shoved me into the daycare against my will, but they legally can't hold me so I signed myself out. Now we're on Route 7. Route 7 is not fun. Route 7 is very not fun because there are a bunch of artists on this route with Smeargle, and just look at this. Oh, wait. First, there are purple flowers here, so make sure you guys stop and pick up your 3 blue Flabebe here. And oh yeah, this thing too. Get 2 of them because they're so forgettable that I forgot they even evolve, so I had to come back for another one later. Now just look at these Smeargle shenanigans. This thing nearly gave me a heart attack with that, and then sent out his buddy after he lost to sweep my whole team. The rest of the artists on this road have more Smeargle with signature legendary high damage moves, but their stats are so pitiful they can't accomplish anything. A little further up the road, Double T challenges Serena and I to a battle, and for some reason, they agree to bully the heck out of her, while I try to set up Skiddo to sweep and get some sweet XP. That ultimately failed, but I thought it was pretty funny they ganged up on her and knocked her out first. Nothing new or exciting in the connecting cave, but on the other side, there are some more mons we can lock down on Route 8. Writhing around in the grass, I snagged 2 Inkay. I think it's pretty wild that my luck with this game is so haywire that I somehow ran into 2 1% Bagon encounters before finding both Inkay. Just a few more battles and hopping on rocks. What the heck what is this doing out here anyway? Like, who built this? Who maintains this? Anyhow, we make it to Amberat Town.
Hey, how you guys doing? Just thought I'd pop in here real quick and let you know I didn't touch this for, the script says 5 to 6 months, but at this point, it's actually been 10 months. It was only 5 to 6 when I wrote that part. I had other stuff going on in my life, but we're just going to ignore that and keep moving on. Just figured I'd let you guys know what you're getting into on this channel. Here in Amberat Town, Duke gives me a no reason dive ball. Some scientists blab on and on to Serena and I, but I honestly didn't pay any attention to them. The aquarium is mood and really chill, but everyone here is useless unless you count the guy that sticks to you with his old rod and acts like he's doing you a favor. I guess beggars can't be choosers. I'll mention this briefly, but I don't think it will ever really matter. I've been stopping in these hotels and getting the O-Powers from Mr. Bonding. I really wish this guy had a better name, but the O-Powers are pretty cool if you like to maximize your grinds. I really don't care in this playthrough, so on our way to Route 9, this lady gave us a rocky helmet at the gate. And here we begin the dumb gimmick of riding Pokemon for very, very brief sections of the game, which could be cool to some of you statistically speaking, but I'd argue it just annoys most of us after the first time because it's just slowing us down, except for getting to ride Skiddo. I'll gladly waste my time on that shit every time I play the game. Up until now, I've been cutting things out and speeding things up for you guys, but this time, you're coming along for the ride. That's right, you think the ride Pokemon gimmick is so good in this game, and you enjoy it so much, then surely you won't have a problem sitting through the entirety of the Rhyhorn ride unedited then. Buckle up, everyone, it's gonna be a long ride. Nah, just kidding. I need that viewer retention. Please don't click off, it was just a joke, I swear I won't do it again. Honestly though, if I was the Rhyhorn, I would drop you off here and just walk away because I know you'd be stuck here forever until you died of starvation or dehydration. Wouldn't that be funny? Anyway, I caught a Helioptile while running around on Rhyhorn. Did one of these sky battles real quick by accident. Whatever, it was easy for Fletchender. Ran back and forth all stupid like for another Helioptile. Blocked myself from the stairs like an idiot. Cave was boring, nothing to see here. While I was fighting a Flare Grunt in here, I thought it would be funny to play one of these ROM hacks one day and go over every battle and every item you can... While I was fighting a Flare Grunt in here, I thought it would be funny to play one of these ROM hacks one day and go over every battle and every item you can get just to make a stupid long, like 12-hour video. Let me know if that sounds interesting to any of you. Even as a one-off, just for funsies kind of thing. What? Why the hell did I put that in there? There were some Flare people in the cave, but they weren't too bad. Nothing notable yet. There was a double battle with Serena, which was genuinely pretty fun, though equally as annoying as it was awesome. Finally! A scientist staring at a wall at a dead-end path in the cave with an escape rope. I thought I'd never find one of these. Blah 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 escape rope, blah blah Rhyhorn, blah blah sail fossil, blah blah dowsing machine I won't use, blah blah Route 8 trainers all dead, blah blah Silage City, blah blah new shirt and shoe. Blah blah free freaking bike boys, blah blah lady massage my Skiddo, a little weird but whatever, blah blah Persenberry, blah blah rest TM, blah blah sleep talk 2, blah blah 3 dozen sody pops, I don't have a problem, you do, blah blah, I know this is getting old but one more, blah blah, gym guy, blah blah, gym trainers, GG easy, and wowie zowie. I didn't think I would make it through that, and it only gets worse because this gym battle took me forever to beat. Holy Gorgonzoli. Alright, before we get into the meat of things, there's something I'm gonna tell you about me. That thing is that I like to try the same thing over and over again with only slight variation. So yes, I experience a lot of CBT. For those that don't know, that stands for can't beat this. The amount of times I lost to Grant is uncountable. I think it was like 8 or 12 times. I don't know. I wasn't counting, but here's the first attempt. As you can see, I wasn't really prepared for any of this, and I wasn't really able to adapt well. I think I started looking up what the gym leaders were going to use by the 5th gym. I really don't remember. All right, I recorded this 10 months ago, and I'm only now getting to the commentary, so yeah. There sure is a whole lot going on here, and I honestly don't think my commentary is going to fill the length of this battle without me having to speed it up significantly. But I won't waste any more of your time here. As you can see, I tried my best, but I'm getting outplayed by held items and unexpected movesets, but some people that are really into CBT would call this scouting, just to start the whole thing over again. I'm only joking, no ill intent or anything if you actually enjoy that. I would, but I worry about how I spend my time more than I should because value is a really subjective thing, and as long as you're enjoying your time, it's not really a waste, right? We're getting too philosophical here, and I'm pulling this out before we slip into the deep end. To paraphrase this process, I did a little better each time I challenged Grant, but here are the changes I made. First, I tried leading with Litleo to try and do some sketchy workup boosting strats, and then Amora would discharge and pair hacks me, so I had to start equipping a Cherry Berry, and I put the Rocky helmet on Skiddo, God knows why. I have no idea what that was about. Turns out, Amora is running Focus Sash, so even if I work up to one-hit it, it's faster than Litleo and will always end up doing some damage. Alright, I promise the gym battles going forward will be more coherent and easier to follow, but the gist of this is I was here for over 2 hours and I'll show you the winning run here. I found my best Hone Edge in the PC and I rare candied her to level with everyone else. I figured Steel was my best answer to Grant, but this was still far from easy and required copious amounts of luck just to scrape by. Taught Hone Edge Shadow Claw over Shadow Sneak because more damage. We also have Sword Stance and Autotoma. I have... The script says Autotomize, but I think it's supposed to be Automatize. I don't know. We also have Sword Stance and Automatize because you know we're using this to scum this battle. So we lead with Litleo and Noble Roar to drop Amora's attack to -6. But we can still get crit, right? Keep that in mind. Luck factor number 1. Then we bring in Hone Edge and start setting up. Amora decides to set up her Fleck last minute to nerf the hell out of us because nothing can be easy. I try to stall for a bit before going for the kill. Tortuga comes in to a one-shot, then Tyrant comes out and D-dances on us. A little scary since we don't one-shot, but he heals and we're still faster, so we get the 2-shot for free. Nice. Now Aerodactyl, easy one-shot. Lily, one-shot. Anorith, one-shot, and that's it. A super uneventful Hone Edge sweep because nothing else I tried worked. Even the Hone Edge sweep lost once or twice because of unlucky crits. Well, after that fiasco, I'm ready to put the whole thing behind me and head north to Route 10. And I wasn't there for long before I caught Halucha, who I'm sure I'll never use. That's called foreshadowing, everyone. Also, I snagged myself an Eevee for that sweet, sweet Sylveon fairy type that I definitely didn't forget about immediately after catching it. Flare guy that's throwing some seriously obtuse gang signs at me. This whole gang sign thing really seems to be a trend that started here because Team Skull does it too, and I want to say the most forgetful semi-bad guys team from Sword and Shield might have done some gang signs. And Team Star is the weakest of the bunch, even if Marnie's fanboys did nothing at all. I'm gonna just ignore talking about all these trainer battles because the runtime is already insane on this video, and the battles aren't really the point, but that thing I said earlier is coming back around again. Play this mod if you can. Play it on an emulator. Play it on your 3DS if you can figure that out. These trainers' rosters are well thought out, and this is an absolute joy to play. Now we're in Geosenge Town. I don't know why I pointed that out, because literally nothing happens here before we leave, except Everstone Woman and O-Power Man. Yep, nothing happens here, and we're ignoring that guy and keeping our nose to the grindstone, as they say. Hey, look, what's-her-name is back, and she wants to fight. Doggo has Power-Up Punch, Swords Dance, and that's kind of scary, but Fletchinder don't care. Easy dub, heading east to Route 11. Lots of trainers to battle over here, but they're no match for the destined champion of the region, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, now's the time I could point out, if I was doing this like a legit Nuzlocke, I would have had to start over probably 20 times by now. Something like that. We got a Dedenne over here right before going into the cave of no return, and Skiddo turned into Big Goatee Boy! I should probably check and make sure me having this on my chin isn't like f things up. So I'm hardcore pressing this microphone into my chin while I talk. As soon as you enter the cave, they show you this funny gimmick of mineral-rich walls having a mirror-like finish so that NPCs can see you even though they're not facing you. It's fine, but I'm more impressed they let you sit. Moonstone up here. Here's a little rocky guy. Quilladin growed up into a big spiky friend. Some jerk had a stally Milotic in here, but we took him down easily with some toxic strats. Hey, look at that! Daylight and Shallower City! For you guys, it's only been maybe a minute, but for me, it's been over an hour or more. Send help. I went around and talked to everyone, and this person gave me Stardust because I had a Fletchinder. And this guy gave me Eviolite because I've been such a good boy catching a bunch of different friends. Double T say words. And we have to go advance the Mega Evolution story in the Tower of Mega Evolution. And a giant Mega Lucario is in there. And it's mega tall and mega evolved and mega. Okay, I'll stop. Hey, check it out. I got my 3DS back and it's... Well, anyway, this guy's other job is a circus clown. But today, he's teaching us about Mega Evolution. Serena swept half my team, which hurt my pride more than anything, so I went to take it out on the gym trainers. Gotta admit, Litleo still not being evolved is really hurting it right now. Can't even take a hit, really. Oh, guess the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Well, too little too late. You're getting swapped out for Hawlucha. Frogadier decided now was a good time to grow up, even though he did nothing in this last battle. Wow, Fletchinder evolved here too. Maybe there's something in the water here. Anyway, I'm going to spare you my fails this time and kind of gloss over what happened in the Karina fight. Alright, so I played pretty well with no prior knowledge on this first round. First is Focus Sash Breloom. Hawlucha Flying presses the Sash and then one hits with Aerial Ace. Pangoro comes out next and Hawlucha clicks Flying Press again. You must have gotten Pangoro confused with your mom, as I'm sure a lot of people do. And here's where it gets interesting. Gallade comes out, and I predict the Psychic move and pivot into Esper. I have no idea what the hell I wrote for this line in the script. I'm assuming I meant to write that Gallade out-predicts us, and Psycho cuts and knocks Esper to half. It's probably supposed to be predicted. Gallade gets predicted and goes for Psycho Cut and knocks Esper to half. Esper isn't doing anything this fight, except for sacking for a free switch, but I predict Gallade once again and pivot into Greninja on an incoming crit Night Slash. I decide to stay in and use Water Shuriken instead of trying for the confusion with Water Pulse, don't ask me why. Of course, here's where I fall short. Somehow, I could predict 2 moves ahead, but I did not see this Leaf Blade coming. Greninja survives, so I switch to Talonflame. I'm surprised Gallade went for another Leaf Blade, but again, I get critted on a not very effective switch-in. This game sucks, and Talonflame moveset is actual trash. So we still only have Peck for our strongest flying type attack. And I'm done talking about this before I get even more heated. Somehow Talonflame takes Gallade down with a Peck, and this brings out Machoke, who I'm sure has all the elemental punches for coverage and a fighting type move for stab. I get a Peck in with Talonflame and he just hits a no reason Rock Slide. Real quick, side note, the trainer hit me with 6 Rock Slides in a row in this gym, and now this. At the time, I thought Rock Slide was 75% accuracy, but I guess it's actually 90%. I still feel Omega fleeced, but we'll move on. Not sure how to handle this situation. Still expecting punches, I go into Hawlucha and go for bounce. Machoke hits me with a Poison Jab, even while I'm in the air. I have no idea if Poison Jab doesn't care if you're in the air or if Machoke is holding an item that allows it. I have absolutely no idea how he hit me. Another instance of me feeling cheated. I tried Googling it, and I couldn't find anyone asking about it. I checked Bulbapedia and Cerebi for the info on Poison Jab specifically, and I couldn't find a reason either. If anyone knows, please tell me in the comments. This is still gnawing at me. Anyhow, Hawlucha gets his bounce off and doesn't kill, but then dies to Poison Jab, and Greninja cleans up with Water Pulse, bringing out Karina's Hawlucha. Probably moving too fast for you to clearly see, but her Hawlucha has a flying gem that unnecessarily boosts acrobatics and one-shots Vespiquen. Yeah, I wiped this thing, and she still has something else in the back. Now for the winner POV. At some point in my attempts, Esper evolved into Meowstic. I don't know what happened because I paused the recording and this came up in the middle. Oh wow, okay, now I'm really mad at myself. I actually don't remember how I won because this happened months ago and I'm writing the script now. And after Esper evolved, it just shows us getting the badge. So I paused the recording at some point to save on hard drive space and forgot to resume it before challenging Karina again. Wow, the new developments just keep coming in. Turns out I saved a text document describing the battle, and here's what I have for you ladies and gents. I'll put it on screen in all its glory, but here we go. Hawlucha starts with a flying press into Breloom. Breloom holds on with an inch of its life, and Rock Tombs for the speed drop. Hawlucha goes for Aerial Ace as Karina desperately heals with a Hyper Potion. But it's just no use as Hawlucha is too powerful. Out comes Pangoro to avenge the death of his comrade and leaves himself open in his haste to a flying press from Hawlucha. Gallade comes in level-headed and ready to fight quickly and decisively. Gallade goes for Psycho Cut as we swap into Esper and tank it like a champ. Esper pivots back into Hawlucha, not wanting to get taken out, and Hawlucha tanks a Night Slash with ease. He goes for a Flying Press once more and gets it off, taking half of Gallade's HP, but Hawlucha honorably succumbs to Gallade's Psycho Cut. Vespiquen makes an entrance and introduces Gallade to an Air Slash, bringing him to his knees. Machoke is up next to bat for Karina, and Vespiquen fires off another Air Slash, clutching a flinch, and finishing off the Brute with another Air Slash before even getting the opportunity to attack. Big bad Hawlucha is in for Karina now. Esper switches into a Flying Gem boosted to Acrobatics, sacrificing his life for the team in the name of victory. Rest easy, Esper. Your noble efforts will never be forgotten. Talonflame is eager to revenge his fallen buddy. Hawlucha manages to attack Talonflame but gets burned by Talonflame's intense body heat. Alright, I'm done with the theatrics here. We heal Talonflame with sodas for 2 turns, then Hawlucha hyper potions. It says here, Peck and Rocky Helmet and Burn kill Hawlucha while we set up a roost on Hawlucha's last turn for almost full HP. Then Lucario threatens as Korrina's swan song to the battle. Talonflame does nearly half HP with Ember, and Lucario throws with Nasty Plot, while Talonflame hits it into the red next turn, and Korrina tries to sweep with that one Nasty Plot. But Talonflame tanks it, living on 30, and kills with Quick Attack. That probably would have been a cool fight to witness, but I'm an idiot and I apologize for that. But hey, we got a badge and we can finally get out of this town. Eyebrow says we can go to the top of the tower now. Korrina is here and challenges us to another battle with Megas because winning the badge wasn't enough. Sore loser is what you are, Korrina. She loses and feels bad, so she gives us a Lucario. As we head west to leave this city, Serena stops us and gives us Surf. Here on Route 12 is arguably the best part of the game because you can ride a Skiddo around this farm! I saved in front of this rock and repeatedly used Rock Smash on it until a Binacle popped out twice, and we snagged them. We arrived in Coumarine City shortly after... Coumarine? Coumarine. It's always this game that's like tripping me up on the names of what are they doing here? We arrived in Coumarine City shortly after, and I explored a little, and got a Silk Scarf from this guy, a Good Rod from this guy, the TM for Trick Room from this girl, a Lucky Egg from this girl that I promptly threw on Esper. This is a different Esper. I've been reserving a spot on the team that I've been rotating box Pokemon to level and evolve throughout the game to save time later. Got a Smile Ribbon from this lady, met the world's youngest game director in the other room. I saw these bozos again in the train station and Professor gave me Fly. We rode the train and got the item Metronome from this guy. Found the O-Power guy in the Poke Center this time. This guy plays that sad song from Black and White or whatever. And this lady plays a cry from a Pokemon in your party. I guessed correctly and she gave me a Poketoy. Down at the gate to Route 13, this dude gave me Black Sludge. Serena challenged me to a battle here and strategically took out my Go-Go early and walled the hell out of my team with her Vaporeon that had leftovers and kept Rain Dance boosting her water attacks. I only managed to win by getting off a Toxic with Vespiquen. Without that, I would have been screwed for sure. I'm not even going to talk about this gym battle because if you try to tell me you remember this guy, then you're 100% lying to me right now. I'll show you a little bit of his team here since we're on the subject, but I did that same thing again. I battled him, lost, paused the recording to save some space, and forgot to start it up again after swapping some team members around and leveling them up. I swear, if I ever do one of these again, I'm just never going to even think about touching the pause function. So the recording stops somewhere fighting the gym leader, and the next one starts up out here on Route 13. That must have been when I realized what happened. It's months later now, and I can still remember the anger and frustration of not being able to figure out how the skating works. To get on these rails with the wind slowing you to a crippling crawl, and being constantly stopped by actual Pokemon in the dust clouds. Repels don't stop these things. They're annoying as sin. Just as the Skiddo part a little bit ago was the best part of the game, this is hands down the worst part of the game in my eyes. Got a Flame Plate over here, PP up over here, TM for Charge Beam in a spot that looks like this. I flew over to Silage City to fish up a Skrelp or two with a Good Rod. Then we went to kick Flare out of the power plant. In the power plant, I found a Scalper, and it made me question if I really even wanted to help this place or not, if it meant I would be somehow helping him by proxy. But I need to finish this game, so I continue on after scooping up the Zap Plate. Some of these fights were pretty fun, especially the admins or whatever they are, but we got it done and we're moving on. Ran into someone twice our size down the stairs and found a rare candy over here before returning to Lumiose after so long. Here I used a Sunstone to evolve Helioptile into Heliolisk. I wanted to go to Route 14, but this game loves putting people in your way just to tell you, no, this way, idiot, go back and do this arbitrary thing first so you aren't underleveled. I really don't understand it because Gen 6 is when the game started to get even easier than they already were. At the very least, they could have come up with other things to stop you, like a bridge being destroyed by a Pokemon, or some better world building than, oh, the power's out, or, hey, we're working on fixing this thing, but I didn't feel like letting you be able to see that because it would cost more to have the art team create models and textures for that stuff. Don't get me wrong, this game looks nice, and a lot of work definitely went into this, especially modeling like, 700-ish Pokemon in full 3D, but it just feels like a blatant slap to the face, like, yeah, we know what we should have done here, but didn't feel like doing it, so thanks for the $60 jump. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, and I've been pretty reserved on that front, so let me vent a little. Anyways, Clement's gym has this quiz gimmick like a more modern version of Blaine's gym or something, but I fought everyone I could. Clement was decently tough, but the first time I fought him, I got cooked by his Electros. It set up a coil and has leftovers, and it just went to town on me after that. I ended up doing some super training to start sorting out some stats because we're only about halfway through the game and I haven't even gotten a first try win on any of the gym leaders yet. Clement leads Rotom Wash and I set up a Leech Seed with Go-Goat and Protect Stall. He ends up getting a Confuse Ray and a Will-O-Wisp on me before I hit him activating a red card and forcing out Delphox. Wash dies to Leech Seed the same turn and Electros comes out setting up a coil as usual. We hit him with Will-O-Wisp to half his attack power and switch into Ninja. We tank an Aqua Tail easy, then switch into Heliolisk anticipating a Wild Charge and calling it correctly. He coils again and I have no idea what this word is. Me and Heliolisk scaring me? Scraying me. Acraying me. He coils again. He coils again, something. Heliolisk's dig doesn't do much, so I do some pivoting, bringing Ninja back in, then into Go-Goat, trying to resist some moves, setting up a Leech Seed before losing Go-Goat, and settling on Ninja Protect Sub and Stall strats. Normally this wouldn't be enough, but since we got a burn on him and Leech Seed, we can passively drain his HP while Ninja hides behind a sub to stave off really high power attacks. Then swaps between that and Protect for a little leftovers healing of our own between subs. Eel gets cooked and Heliolisk comes out. I switch into my Heliolisk to resist an electric attack, but this thing one-shots me. We send out Delphox to set up a light screen. Somehow this thing knows Surf, but we got our screen up, so we swap to Hawlucha and flying press it into Oblivion. Galvantula comes out, and Fox fries it with one-shot Flamethrower. Magnezone makes his appearance, but we find out he holds an air balloon. Then he paralyzed us with a T-Wave, and survived because sturdy. Clement heals as I heal Paralysis, and we repeat the cycle before he Volt switches into Mega Ampharos. Delphox sets up a screen before laying down her life. Vespiquen emerges to fire off a Toxic and spam Heal Order while the screens are up, until it breaks and then she goes down too. Ampharos goes down in one more turn, so Ninja comes out and protects and GG's Magnezone with a Surf for the win. I come in here and listen to more blah blah blah, then I can finally go catch more Mons. But wait, Serena wants me to toast her again first. She has this god-awful Clefable now that isn't affected by my toxic Leech Seed combo, and I don't have anything to hit fairies hard right now, so this thing was annoying as sin, so I eventually stalled it out until it struggled itself to death. Here's where, in my first playthrough of X many moons ago, that I ran into a shiny Quagsire that I still have in home somewhere. I managed to find myself a Goomy slithering around in here, and shortly after, we listened to this dude's ghost story when I ran into the gang out front of his house. Afterwards, we made it to Lavara Town, where I bought a new shirt and some other stuff, whatever, more O-Powers, Gengar right here, Effort Ribbon, Teleport Sabrina-like gym gimmick. This is the first gym where I looked up what Pokemon they were going to use and what moves they have, like your favorite Nuzlockers do. And I won first try. Klefki dies to Flamethrower, Granbull dies to Flamethrower, Azumarill dies to Hornleech, Togekiss dies to Thunderbolt, Sylveon dies to Toxic, and finally Mega Mawile dies to Flamethrower. Delphox was MVP there. See how easy it is when you cheat? Here's some more rapid fire stuff since it'll be a minute until we're catching again. Battle, item, puzzle, item, important double battle, items, Route 15, battle, Klefki, double battle, exposition, battle, lost hotel, battle, double battle, item, outside, battle, Dendemil Town, main characters, item, O-Powers, milk, facade, item, battle, back to Route 15, and finally, with the exception of Klefki, we are now going to catch some Pokemon. Here's where we can catch Pumpkaboo. Pumpkaboo is a little special because for those who don't know, there are 4 different sizes of Pumpkaboo: small, average, large, and supersize. Check the Bulbapedia and scope these base stats. They're different for each size. The smaller the pumpkin, the less HP it has and faster it is. So naturally, the larger pumpkin, the more HP and slower it is. So while I was doing this, I would screenshot the Pumpkaboo while it was in a neutral camera angle. Then I would catch it and put the screenshot next to the game window on my monitor so I could try to compare the size on the fly. And it worked pretty well. I was able to find 2 of each Pumpkaboo, which you've been watching during my explanation of this, and we caught 2 of each because they evolve into Gourgeist, who also retains the sizing gimmick. This game went nuts with forms if that somehow isn't obvious to you all yet. So as I'm writing this, not reading, this is March 20th of 2024, and I'm beginning to see a lot of videos on YouTube talking about the eventual shutdown of Pokemon Bank, or just going over things that still aren't available without Pokemon Bank. And it's kind of pushing this sentiment of like, oh, who knows? It could be right around the corner. They never said how long it will stay up, so you better hurry before it's gone. Although thinking about it now, I think they did give a date, but I'm going to stop myself here. So Nintendo is shutting down 3DS services on April 8th, which is like, what, 2.5 weeks from now? They say that bank will still be working allegedly, but that could change at any time. And knowing Nintendo, that'll be the day after. So it's crunch time, boys. I say this, and apparently I quit playing in this recording and just randomly decided to play Trouble and Super Mario Sorry with my friend in Tabletop Simulator and forgot to stop the recording. Thanks, past me. 11. Bro, what?
Must move one pawn forward 11 spaces or change places with one opponent.
You deserve
Wait.
to die. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to complain about that because you put me right next to my thing, too. Sorry. Take a... Move your hand, I can't read. Take a pawn from the start and switch places with an opponent. Then return the opponent back to start. Sorry.
What the fuck?
Oh
Take a
no!
pawn or switch places with an opponent or return the opponent back to start. Literally nothing happened.
Yeah, we're right back where we started. I guess I feel like these cards aren't fucking shuffled. Guess you're going back in.
There's a 12 in? There's a 12 in there? God damn it, dude.
Oh, the Stardew music just kicked in.
Must move
Stardew
one
winter
pawn
music.
forward 8 spaces.
You love this track. I love this track.
Why is this TTS edition? Nothing happened. This is TTS edition.
Tabletop Simulator.
Oh, I was thinking text to speech.
What the f?
I text zoom in every time.
Huh?
I said I have to zoom in every time I pull a card like an old man.
So do I. I just want to make
Let's
sure
move-
there's like not an additional rule that I'm missing or something.
One pawn forward 11 spaces or change places with one opponent. Take a pawn from a start and switch places with an opponent, then return an opponent back to start. That's a shitty card, dude. that's fun. I guess the confusing thing is my hand is blue, but I'm green, and your hand is green, you're blue. Oh, dude, another sorry card.
You literally can't even use it.
Yeah, I can't even play it. What?
Actually, wait a minute.
You can't change now. You can't do that. You already made your move. Fucker. God damn it. Krill yourself, dude. Fucking Christ.
I probably will after this game.
Let's move one backward 4 spaces.
Oh, gee, which one? Which one is it gonna be?
Yeah, this ain't really matter. My table.
Fuck, son. Alright, I'm sorry guys, but I'm panicking because I know I'm missing some Pokemon from Gen 1 and 2 that got lost along the way and still have to catch everything in Sun and Moon and beat both of those games in 2 weeks while also having to work every day as well as help my family. So yeah. We walked into this cave here and it's cold as fuck in here. There's an ice floor sliding puzzle in here that reminds me of the one from Silver and Gold because I'm a boomer. I accidentally stepped on Bergmite, and another one in the books. This one wanted to tag along too. How could I deny a face like that? This hiker's golem got outplayed. In the deepest part of the cave, we find some flare people and an Abomasnow. No idea what's going on here, but I know it can't be good, so we fight them based solely on tradition and assumptions. Oh yeah, and Trevor helps, I guess, but Tierno isn't here, so I didn't really notice him. Abomasnow gave me its Megastone, and I left without another word. Route 17 now, and here's Mamoswine. He's big and hairy, and that's all you need to know. Let's ride. Hey, it's Anastar City. Repeat balls, O-Powers, Flamethrower, Max Repels, Escape Ropes, new clothes that I spent $17,000 on, and you probably didn't even notice the difference. Serena battle in front of the gym, I win. Another thing I thought I'd mention at this point, the whole Nuzlocke thing has been out the window from the beginning. I've been doing my best not to let my Pokemon faint, which I've been pretty successful mostly, but every once in a while you get that random trainer with some cheese strat that you're not expecting that just cooks one of your Mons, if not outright steamrolls your entire team because of some stupid shit you've never seen and weren't prepared for. That and I wiped several times on almost every gym leader until I started cheating by looking at their teams and moves beforehand. Oh well, no time for that now. We gotta move and fast. Another first try victory with this gym leader, and you know why. Chili's with Slowbro that dies the T-Bolt from Heliolisk. Alakazam comes out and goes down after a T-Wave and a few T-Bolts because she kept healing. I outplayed Metagross because I knew he would Earthquake, so I went into Hawlucha. But I didn't think any further than that because he Ice Punched Hawlucha, Earthquake Delphox, and Ice Punch Go-Goat. But he didn't kill Go-Go, and he succumbed to Life Orb damage after that. Then Greninja surfed her Delphox, Heliolisk T-bolted Sigilyph, and finally Mega Medicham falls to attack order. GG's Olympia, thanks for the free win. With no time to spare for victory celebrations, I fly to Lumio City and catch a cab for the Doritos Cafe. Inside, we fight two nobodies, and they show me to the entrance of their clubhouse behind the bookshelf. Upon entering, Big Nacho Cheese challenges me to a duel and gets absolutely stomped. Now I get ownership over the gang as he kneels at my feet. Maybe one day I'll get to play a Pokemon game as the bad guy. Now we're stuck navigating their goofy gooning jungle here. I'd point out battles, but none of them really stand out. I'm still enjoying them, but they just aren't really important enough to note. I'm also going to take the liberty of trimming the fat on the items I picked up here due to the urgency of Pokemon Bank and blah blah blah. Man, I love doing that. Side note again, if you've made it this far and you aren't sleeping, please drop a sub and a like. Your favorite YouTubers would appreciate it, and so would I if that means anything to you. In some empty room in the back, we fight Stink and Stankus for like the 69th time this game. No lie though, these two are actually pretty difficult when you have to fight them because the game makes a habit of making you do it back to back without being able to heal in between. The spoils of war, apparently, are some exposition, and when we find the captain of the circus Stink Clowns, gives us an elevator key. The elevator takes us to Dorito Dungeon where he has Paul Bunyan locked up. We're told this really heart-wrenching story about Paul and his Pokemon from like 3 millennia ago, and I'm sure it's really powerful and emotional. But there's a time and a place for everything. Now's not the time. Then we go back upstairs and leave Paul behind so we can fight this guy. He tells you to press one of two buttons that will either destroy the world or prevent it, and truth is, it was rigged from the start. They both usher in the end times. Big crystal flower gun thing pops out of Geosenge, so I fly over there and start sniffing for clues. You know the drill. Battle, 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 exposition, battle, battle, battle. Doritos wants to fight again, and this guy just doesn't know when to quit. He's like that guy that just logged into Siege after not playing for years and is like, oh yeah, I remember that game. That was so fun. I'm gonna play it again. Then he goes into casual, gets spawn peeked and wall banged all match not knowing how the new ops work. Except Doritos here just keeps queuing up instead of uninstalling like he should. Serena and I take on more goons in the basement. I gotta admit, our teams had some good coincidental synergy going on here. They double target me while I protect, letting Serena get a big free hit. Then later on, I surf onto her water-absorbed Vaporeon. It was pretty good. Next battle was less notable. Busting into the bank vault reveals some big nasty breathing egg or something hooked up to a bunch of edgy red wires in a dark room. Had to fight 4 admins to get in here, and now we gotta fight 4 more. Send help. Apparently I was watching one of Vinny's commercial chaos streams during this and I didn't want to forget about this one, so since I had to see this, now so do you. Only with even less context.
Fear discovered.
Tita, yung layuman nyo, baka umatake.
Look, we're dough now. I mean, we're gonna be baked into bread or something. I mean, maybe we could make a movie about this and call it...
Here's a little montage of me demolishing all of the admin's Pokemon. You thought I was kidding, but no, you actually have to fight every single one of these bozos, and they all have full teams. Can't remember the last time we wasted this much time with no time to waste more time wasting time. Everyone's favorite bacon bird erupts from the sack in the room. Legendary catch rates are busted in these newer games, so we catch them in only 3 normal Pokeballs. Then Doritos comes back out of his John... Then... I shouldn't laugh at my own jokes. Then Doritos comes back out in his John Cyberpunk cosplay for another round of Siege and gets absolutely pub stomped again. I'm sure one day he will win, and it will all be worth the years of sacrifice. He rages so hard he makes a giant gun shoot itself. I know that sounds dumb as hell, but it actually happens. You can look and see. Hi, me again. I took another long break, or at least I did when I was writing the script because I'm recording this all at one time. I have no idea if this video will ever come out at this point. Spoilers, it does. But if you're watching this now, then you already know the answer, and you probably know that it wasn't worth all the time I poured into it. Somehow during my rambling, we traveled to wherever this is to catch some Goomy. We're coming up on the end now, so there won't be much left to grab. After Goomy time, I ended up on Route 18, and it's all starting to come back to me now. I spent a very long time in a certain cave somewhere near here. Why are caves in Pokemon games always so traumatic? They're all full of useless encounters that show up more than like 80% of the time. I'm looking at you, Zubat, Geodude. I was going to put more here, but after looking it up, they're honestly the main 2 culprits in a lot of different games too. Sometimes they throw in evolutions and a one-off like Makuhita or a gimmick cave where the main encounters are themed like Swinub and Ice Cave and Johto, or Numel and Fiery Path, or Diglett and Diglett's Cave. What a surprise that one is. This just turned into a please add variety to caves video. As we move on from that, I want you to know that I spent that entire recording session in that cave. Lots of trainers in there, but it is more time consuming than anything. Found O-Power Guy again in this town, and just south of the town I find 2 Sliggoo. Wish I knew about this before wasting my time on Goomy, but you can't win them all. Okay, I'm going to break the 4th wall here. I'm going to tear down the wall and allow you in on the illusion. But To make it easier for you to stomach, I'm going to have whoever I can get from hit TV show SpongeBob SquarePants let you down easy. Take it away, somebody.
So yeah, Zero has been dicking around a lot here and trying to fill you in on every little detail, but I'm gonna take over now and save all of you a few hours of your time you would never otherwise get back. See, the original cut is another 2 hours of runtime, but Uncle Squiddy here is going to bless you with a concise wrap-up. Don't let Zero know I'm doing this. If it weren't for me, the video never would have come out, so whether that is a gift or a curse is up to you, but let's get on with it. The next big plot point here is this gauntlet of a bridge where he has to fight Shauna and Double T. On this first run, he makes good switches and some predictions and gets through Shauna, but then gets fucking rolled by Tierno's Volcarona after it sets up a quiver dance. Ha ha ha. On the next attempt, though, he managed to have Tierno set up some rain and got lucky having Volcarona come out last and was able to get the rain-boosted Stab Surf from Greninja on him to take it out. Not sure what this dickhead did now, but the next video picks up with Honedge evolving into Doublade, so we're off to a fantastic start here. This guy has a serious case of brainworms or something, because after that evolution, he just starts running all over Kalos doing chores. Now he's running into Terminus Cave for some reason. I really couldn't tell you what's going on, so we're just gonna skip all this crap. He came in here for a Dusk Stone to get Aegislash out of that Doublade. Love whoever decided it would be a good idea to fill a beautiful field with actual rubbish bins. Watch this goof-ass motherfucker struggle with a puzzle in this gym. I bet this guy couldn't fight his way out of a can of bread. He eventually does make it to the gym leader, so let's sit in on this battle. So he flames the Abomasnow for an easy lead. Then immediately gets some awful luck when Mamoswine dodges his flame and Okos him with an earthquake. He then brings in Halucha and gets a +2 from Power Up Punch when Wolfric switches into Jinx. Unfortunately, that +2 wasn't enough to bring down Mamoswine as he gets crushed by an Icicle Crash. Greninja comes in and nabs the W after Wolfric burns a Hyper Potion. Wolfric sends in Avalugg, which was uneventful, and drops to some Surfs. Now you see Cloyster make an appearance, and this is where the turns get tabled. Zero switches the Aegislash to presumably resist any ice that may come his way, and inadvertently allows Wolfric to get off a free Shell Smash. He goes for a stab Iron Head, and even behind Shield Form Slash, he takes 2/3 from a Surf. Zero Hail Marys into Greninja to resist the Surf, and takes over half damage. He protects to get some regen from lefties, and if the first Surf was anything to go by, then he certainly won't live another. Without any other choice, he goes for the Surf. Cloyster strikes first, and Greninja survives on 9 HP. Greninja pops off a Surf and brings it home, taking down the Cloyster. What a clutch, saving his team from getting steamrolled. Wolfric on the back foot brings out his Ace Abomasnow and megas it. Zero switches into Delphox with a victory lap and catches a W. What a great show from a guy who couldn't figure out a children's puzzle only moments ago.
Wow, would you look at that? We're all out of time for our guests. Golly gee, mister. It was nice having you. Can't wait to do it again. Have a nice day. Don't forget to read the fine print. Anyways, folks, let's just sweep that under the rug and wrap this up. I got a level with you all. Delphox is hard carrying us right now. I'm really glad I didn't actually Nuzlocke this. I lose half of my team in almost every battle in Victory Road. There's some interesting fights here, but I'd like to focus on Serena. My main point of contention with her is this dumb Clefable. It is quite possibly the worst stall wall I've ever went up against. In case you forgot, it is specially bulky and has lefties and soft-boiled for recovery, Moonblast for stab, and Calm Mind. This thing just outright sucks and is really the only consistent threat on her team for me. I'm sure there's an answer to this thing, but I'm too stupid and impatient to deal with it properly. I always put it in the back of my mind and forget about it until it rears its ugly head once again. Thankfully, we managed to take her down on the first try, but not without losing loads of time to Clefable Wall. As if that wasn't bad enough, every trainer in the second half of Victory Road has a Mega and a Legendary. This lady has a team of 6 consisting of Raikou and Mega T-Tar. This clown had Regice and Mega Banette. Wingus has Azelf and Mega Garchomp, scripted freeze hacks by the way. Dingus has Zapdos and Mega Kangaskhan. The list goes on and on. This was so unapologetically brutal. I had Citrus Berry Harvest Trevenant, Brave Bird Sturdy Skarmory. I used Will-O-Wisp on a Zangoose expecting some high damage physical move, and he gets burned and hits me with Facade. The prediction was so unreal. Alright, that was just the appetizer. Now's the time for the main course of absolute annihilation. The Elite Four. I'll preface this by saying that I lost every battle here on the first time around. However, through that scouting, I was able to pick up a second round victory. I want you to know, if I lied to you, You would think I was a gamer god and first tried them all, because that's how I'm going to present it. Kicking things off in the Blazing Chamber, we challenge Malva. You out there in the audience, I want you to raise your hand if you knew her name. If you honestly remembered it now, come on. Just as I suspected. One liar and everyone else had no fucking clue. That's gonna be a trend here. She leads with Typhlosion and Ninetales that sets up the sun with Drought. Her Typhlosion loves spamming sun-boosted Eruption that will steamroll your whole team. This is where we had to make some substitutions. I benched Aegislash and Vespiquen and brought on Goodra and Florges. We start off by countering the sun with Rain while protecting Greninja. Then Goodra protects while Greninja goes for Rain-boosted Surf, dropping Typhlosion and nearly dragging Ninetales with it. Malva throws out Chandelure in return. Now Greninja protects as Goodra blasts out some muddy water. And now you see the cycle of our strategy here. Ninetales gets a full restore while Chandelure desperately tries to set up a Solar Beam. Malva's team is devastating in the sun, but without a way to reset it, she goes from being a nuclear bomb to one of those shitty little black puck things that you light on fire and it turns into this dumb little turd on the pavement. Anyways, we keep the 1-2 punches rolling here, and Malva reluctantly sends Heatran and Talonflame to the slaughter. It gets a little interesting here as the rain dissipates and she sends in Charizard to avenge Heatran. Since she has a Sun team, I make the educated guess that it's Mega Charizard Y, and I was right. I made the decision to use Greninja's turn to heal Goodra and set up the rain once more as to not allow this thing to get any momentum. It could easily turn this around if it outspeeds the rest of my team. I couldn't have predicted this better. They leave Greninja alone and double into poor Goodra with Brave Bird, and Zard throws hard by going for Dragon Pulse. She set Sun with Drought, and I feel like she would have finished off Goodra if she had gone for Flamethrower, but maybe I'm wrong. With the help of the rain set by our amazing tank Goodra, Greninja fires off a Surf, drowning Talonflame and leaving Zard with only a third. The cherry on top of this is that Malva tried so hard to at least take down Goodra, but Goodra activates Quick Claw on the last turn, hitting Zard with a muddy water to secure a flawless victory. No rest for the wicked as we charge headstrong into the Flood Chamber and challenge Seabold. Nobody knew this guy's name either because these people didn't show up at all during the story. Malva's gimmick was a double battle, so it only makes sense that Seabold's is a triple battle, right? Didn't you all miss triple battles from Unova? Don't answer that. I know you were all foaming at the mouths for a triple battle. This battle was so lame. I'm not even going to give the play-by-play. Florges makes steady progress on the right side of the field. Go-Goat gets hammered from all sides. Greninja whittles down the left. Delphox replaces Go-Goat to set up Light Screen and buy the team some time, while Florges and Greninja keep doing their thing. Florges tears through Kingdra, Barbaracle, and Gyarados. Politoed sabotages his own team, taking out Ludi with Surf. Hawlucha grabs the quick kill on Polly, and Goodra cleans up Blastoise. The end. Looks like I lied to you guys earlier. Seabold was actually so lame that I did first try him. Pathetic compared to what I had to deal with in Victory Road. Now, in the Dragon Mark Chamber, we tackle another face nobody has ever seen or remembers. Dresna. One thing that's nice about this fight is that it takes a step back to reality with a normal single battle instead of the gimmicky stuff. Hawlucha baits Dragon Pulse as we switch into Florges, and Dresna is having none of it as she switches to Drygalgi. Florges deals a modest quarter before tagging in Delphox. Drygalgi totally whiffs a gunk shot and gives us the lead as our furry god slams it with a Psychic. Salamence is ready to wreak havoc, but we shut it down with a double prediction. Hawlucha into E-Quake and Florges into Outrage. In an unexpected turn of events, Mence one-taps Florges with a crit Iron Tail and gets a Moxie boost. Great. You can't see it, but I'm forcing a sarcastic smile. Our best option at this point is quad damage Ice Beam from Greninja. But will it be enough? Yes. Thank Arceus. We sack Hawlucha to res Florges as Moonblast is quad effective and demolishes Hydreigon. Sue me for using a revive. I dare you to do all of this and make a video of this caliber and prestige with zero compromises. My inbox is waiting. I assume Noivern won't go for a dragon move since we have Florges out, so I pivot into Goodra, who takes a soft Hurricane easily. Goodra, being the savior he was destined to be, clutches a Quick Claw on the next turn and rips right through Noivern with a Dragon Pulse. Out comes Latios, and as if it were scripted, Goodra procs Quick Claw a second consecutive time and fires off a nasty Dragon Pulse. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough though, and Lati heals with leftovers. And Roost? Oh, here we go. I hate stalls and walls and anything that rhymes, including balls. It's healing slightly more than we're damaging it with Dragon Pulse, and as much as I love arbitrarily wasting my time, We don't have enough PP to outlast this thing. The only thing running through my head is fucking run it on a prayer for the crit and the... As if it were that easy, Gudra just keeps pulling massive W's and hits a crit on the second to last Dragon Pulse. If this hasn't convinced you to put a Gudra on your next team, I have no idea what will. This guy is a keeper for sure, and he's going in my personal collection of Pokemon. We'll grab another for the Living Dex. Zard X says it's time to lay down the law as we go for broke, launching one final Dragon Pulse, but he outspeeds our best boy and cuts him down with a Dragon Claw. Reeling from the loss and unsure how to proceed, I send in our other pillar Delphox to relentlessly spam Psychic. Zard gets scary, setting up a D-Dance, and I swear we're cooked at this point, but Delphox grits his teeth and withstands a D-Dance boosted Dragon Claw from an adamant Zard X. Granted, we're over-leveled, but damn if I ain't proud. We're almost at the summit, boys. Last but not least is the Ironworks chamber with yet another forgettable trainer. Wickstrom. Anyone care to spin the wheel of gimmicks to see what kind of bullshit we have to wade through this time? Too bad I'm spinning the wheel for you. Oh, would you look at that, ladies and gentlemen? It's rotation battles! Yes, rotation battles. This could not be more exciting than Friday night at Grandma's Bingo Hall. Let's get this show on the road. I assume Empoleon rotates in to water move Fox, so I rotate Goat in to E-Quake this dumb steel brainlet. I was half right. Empoleon swings around but inexplicably uses agility. Goat takes a weak surf and sends it with an E-Quake. Wickstrom sends out this thing that is clearly a bug, and if any of you thought otherwise, I suggest you take an eye exam. Fox is threatened by nothing on his side now, so he freely swaps in to spam Flamethrower for the rest of the match. Until I mindlessly mash A and my cursor gets reset for some reason, so I misclick Light Screen. Our speed gets dropped by what I think was a Bulldoze and Thunderwave combo, so that introduces doubt into what was an unquestionable landslide victory. Florges steps up to aromatherapy Fox's pair hacks away, then puts him back in the fiery driver's seat to pound out blistering justice. Down goes Ferrothorn, as true to my word, we quadruple down on flamethrowers. Wickstrom keeps playing Protect Merry-Go-Round until the bug gets roasted. Aegislash does something interesting. We smelt him down to slag, but he desperately clings to life. We activate his weakness policy, upping his attack by 2 stages. But we also get the burn, so it's like nothing really happened. Plus he goes for Flash Cannon anyway, and it's a special move. So, because of the stance change, he gets melted into liquid now. The only thing left in our way is Mega Aggron, which admittedly is cool as but I'm not too worried about him stopping us. The worst I thought could happen actually does. He survives a flamethrower by the skin of his teeth and E-Quakes Fox, knocking us out while full restoring on the next turn. No big deal. I throw Hawlucha in even though he's only a fraction of Aggron's size to chip him with Power Up Punch, and to my surprise, Aggron throws hard on the last turn, presumably expecting a switch because Hawlucha dies to one more hit, so he E-Quakes, but we stay in and ground him down to dust. Easy dub, as now only one person stands in our way. I bring our team to level cap and we swagger into the Radiant Chamber. Unlike everyone else, we actually have seen this person a few times in this game. Galvantula is up first, and even though it has a focus sash, we get a lucky flinch, and it goes down before it could do anything. Blaziken shows up and looks menacing, and it was probably speed boost, but we move first, and after one psychic, you would have never known it was there. T-Tar comes out, and this is a little scary. I make a dumb play and switch to Gudra to reset the weather with rain, allowing him to set up 2 D-Dances. We might be getting into a sticky situation here. Just kidding. We get a free win because Quick Claw. Now Suicune dashes in, and surely we can't take this lightly. I mean, it's a legendary Pokemon. We need to treat this Pokemon with some respect and carefully plot a strategy lest we be overwhelmed by its legendary power. Right? Yeah, no, Florges just mindlessly clicks Petal Dance and GG. Now, Porygon Z? Well, that's goofy, but whatever, I guess. We outnumber her so bad at this point, I don't really have to play carefully if I even needed to in the first place. I won't deny we got kind of lucky with the flinch and the Quick Claw, but I'm sure we could have found a way to win even without that. Lucha does big damage with a power-up punch, but goes down to a T-Bolt. Greninja jumps in on the full restore to clean up with 2 surfs. Now the actual final cog in the machine designed to stop us at all cost. Mega Gardevoir. Ninja chips with Surf and gets one-tapped. Goat is decided on stall tactics, going for Leech Seed and Protect. We play it safe and send in Gudra to eat a Hyper Voice to reset Goat's Protect counter. Then Goat makes good use of it, pulling out a double Protect. Predicting the full restore, Fox comes in on the free switch and sets up a light screen. Mega G has Shadow Ball for just such an occasion, but thanks to our screen, she only hits for about a quarter. Fox sends it with a flamethrower as he's done so many times before, and somewhat anticlimactically, we bring home the W one last time. So, the sun sets once more over the team who managed to accomplish the unthinkable. A long-term goal finally realized and brought to fruition while JPEGs of our friends stand tall with us like the cardboard cutouts that they are. It's never really the end though, as Robert Wadlow crashes the ceremony and challenges us to a final battle. I would refuse him, but I'm being hamstrung by the game and don't have a choice. Crazy how free and limited your choices can be at the same time in a Pokemon game, isn't it? You know what? I'm not going over this battle. I refuse. You force me into a battle? Huh? Yeah? Well, I'm forcing your efforts into obscurity. Nobody will ever know the outcome of this, and I hope it tears you to pieces inside. You thought you were gonna take the spotlight from me? I'm the goddamn champion. You guys thought it was a bit, but I'm serious. First post-game task at hand, obtaining toothpaste. I mean, the Zygarde. If you're confused by that, just look at this dude, Shiny. We found him stinking all the way at the back of this cave. I leech seed him, giving him a timer and an ultimatum. Join me or die. Predictably, he chose to die. But much like everything else this game throws at me, my dear Zygarde, I'm afraid you don't have a choice. No. It's only the illusion of choice. I simply reload my save and knock Zygarde into the red, the old-fashioned way, and relentlessly hurl balls in his direction until one sticks. Nice. And it only took 38 balls. I have no idea how many Mons that puts us at, but I'm sure Editor Me will sort that out for you visually. Hey, now that's a number right there. Might even be a number of all time. I think that takes care of everything on the catching front of things. Now it's time to evolve and organize. I decided to battle at Restaurant Le Wow to level our Mons. I gave Delphox an amulet coin to make the best return on our investment. You see, you have to pay to battle here, essentially. I mean, technically you're paying for a meal, but we all know what we're here for, and it's not a meal. Using this process, we managed to evolve Bergmite to Avalugg, Noibat to Noivern, Pancham to Pangoro, Binacle to Barbaracle, Litleo to Pyro, Honedge to Doublade, Flabebe to Floette, Flabebe to Floette, Flabebe to Floette, Skrelp to Drygalgi, Flabebe to Floette, Flabebe to Floette, Flabebe to Floette, Flabebe to Floette, Fletchling to Fletchlander, Scatterbug to Spupa, Flabebe to Floette, Flabebe to Floette. Excuse the video quality here. We had to switch over to the capture card to do some trade evolutions. Not only is the quality worse, but the video kept stuttering as well, and I didn't notice it until after the fact. Big oopsie, guys. Pumpkaboo small to Gourgeist small, Pumpkaboo medium to Gourgeist medium, Pumpkaboo large to Gourgeist large, Pumpkaboo XL to Gourgeist XL, Phantump to Trevenant, Inkay to Malamar, Floette to Florigus, Floette to Florigus, Floette to Florigus, Floette to Florigus. Brief excursion to breed the starters we need, as well as begrudgingly play puzzles in Pokemon-Amy. I'm glad this never made a return to the series. This needs to be buried. No, this needs to be displayed everywhere as a constant reminder of our mistakes as a species. Anyway, after doing some puzzles and overfeeding, Eevee becomes a princess pupper. Back at the daycare, Chestnut gives us 2 Chespin, Greninja bestows 2 Froakie, Delphox makes 2 Fennekin. Yay. Then we force them to grow up, getting Chespin to Quilladin, Froakie to Frogadier, and Fennekin to Braixen. Before leaving, I decided to breed a Bunnelby real quick for convenience, and that wraps up everything we can do in Y. Now I have to very quickly play through the entirety of X to get Xerneas. I guess we need some Swirlix and Clauncher too, if you'll excuse me for just a moment. We finish X in record time. Nobody tell the speedrunners. After completing it, I trade over 2 Clauncher, Xerneas, Tyrunt, and 2 Swirlix, allowing one of them to evolve, as well as trade evolving a Spritzee. The very last things I do are evolve a Clauncher to Clawitzer and evolve Tyrunt to Tyrantrum. Then I breed Tyrantrum and Aurorus with Ditto to get one of each offspring. Lastly, I organize our boxes to transfer to Pokemon Bank and transfer everything from Y to Bank, then Bank to Home. I did my best to try and show you the entire process on screen here. I'm gonna break the immersion here one final time and tell you all that it is currently 10 months after I had started this journey. This clip you're watching now happened in April of 2024. I started this journey in October of 23, I'm currently typing up this script in August 2024, and I'm currently reading this script as of August 2024. I kept procrastinating on this and getting overwhelmed between my personal life and work. I really didn't think I was ever going to finish this, but I just brute forced a lot of this work here at the end, including editing, as that is the final hurdle. So I told you the date that I'm writing this script. You can do your own math to figure out how long the editing took, at least in terms of months. I usually really like editing though, and since I'm on the grind right now, I probably will get it done within a month. But that does it, guys. We finally completed the Pokemon X and Y Living OT Dex. I feel so good to actually realize this goal and be standing here at the end with maybe a handful of you that watched this whole crapshoot and made it here with me. Now's the part where I do the ever so predictable YouTuber spiel and ask you guys to sub if you made it here. There's logic to that though. If you watched the whole thing and didn't just skip to the end, then odds are you like what I did here. If that's the case, then leaving a like will let me know that you want more Pokemon content from me, and subbing means you will know when it comes out. I know this one took me a hot minute, but your support could easily motivate me. So, well, I'm not good at endings or anything, so I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.